Welcome to Voices of the Valley, episode 14. As you can see, I'm joined by a multitude of people today. I'm your host, Connor Dorr, and we're just going to go around and introduce everybody. So, Nick, you're up.
Oh, I'm first? Okay. My name is Nick Stolga, and I'm the news editor of this wonderful newspaper publication, The Glacier.
Marcus Collins, and I'm the photo editor for the Glacier newspaper.
Hi, I'm Mariah Trujillo. I'm the editor-in-chief of this lovely publication.
I'm Rosie. I'm the opinion editor.
I'm Emma. I'm the arts and entertainment editor.
I'm Joey. I'm the sports editor.
All right, so that is our cast today. We are going to just talk about the year, and let's get right into it. How do you guys feel about how things went this year?
It was chaotic, but it was also fun.
Chaotic, but fun. There's fun in chaos. What was chaotic and what made that fun?
We had a bunch of stories all the time. We had a bunch of stories every week.
So true.
I'm sure
Oh my goodness.
Mariah and Nick definitely relate to that.
Mariah, how was being editor-in-chief with managing all these stories?
It's interesting. It's different, that's for sure. I went from being news editor, which was kind of just editing myself and working for myself, to running 7-8 different people, which is definitely something. As Emma said, it can be chaotic at sometimes, but there's something really amazing about having a bunch of friends like that. I didn't really talk to any of you beforehand, and now I can text you guys about anything, and that's nice. We talk about stories, but we can talk about a lot more too.
It's like a community.
Nice. Yeah, a community is a good word to use.
Yeah, I agree. For people that don't know, our stories are due on Saturday. And so your whole Saturday is pretty much taken up just by editing stories.
Yeah, sometimes that goes into Sunday, and then usually Sunday is an all-day type of thing. Saturday evenings and into Sunday all day. So yeah, that's fun. But
yeah. So do you think you enjoyed the experience more than you disliked it?
100%. No,
100%.
1,000%.
Yeah.
No. I will always look fondly on Maureen for giving me that opportunity. I genuinely wouldn't have imagined myself being here, and it's been phenomenal. Not only can I say that I was editor-in-chief, which is a big fancy word, but I don't know. I made a lot of great memories with you guys.
Yeah, I feel like we wouldn't be as close as we were unless we went on that EIU trip.
That's very
which is
true.
that trip that we went down and to the college and went to a journalism conference.
So fun.
It was a lot of fun.
What was your guys' favorite memory from that trip?
For me, I would say it was the time we could clean house. We got all the woodberries.
Yeah, we pretty. How many did we win? Do you remember? 25 total.
And Mariah won 3 first-place awards.
Stop
That's
it.
insane.
Yeah,
Stop
Mariah
it. Thank
kicked
you.
fucking ass.
What was it? Headline Reporter of the Year? Oh my goodness.
Report of the Year was a big one, and then News Story of the Year.
Jeez.
I remember going over to your house and it was up there on the wall. I was like,
yeah.
oh
My
my
dad
god.
has it framed.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Proud parent moment. My favorite memory, sorry Nick, was definitely playing tic-tac-toe with Connor in that really, really boring class.
Oh my god.
More magenta. if you
More
need it.
magenta.
More magenta.
Oh my
Was
goodness.
this the one?
Yeah.
The Photoshop?
Yeah, the Photoshop
Oh my
one. That
God,
one
that
was
cost us
horrible.
Not only was it tic-tac-toe.
You did fall asleep in that one. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
It's I already knew all this stuff, and he basically doing all this. I already knew everything he was talking about. I was just so bored.
That professor didn't even know what he was doing.
I remember
So
writing on the
funny.
paper to Mariah saying, look at Marcus. And Marcus was just slumped over. It was so
He
great.
was.
Yeah, but half our class was in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We stuck together a lot. We just kind of hung out as a group all day.
Pretty much.
It was weird too because every other college that was there was color coordinated.
Oh my god. We were
They
so
were in
happy.
uniforms and shit.
I noticed that too.
Yeah, we just came in street clothes and here these kids are
Literally,
showing up
yeah.
They
in
could've-
uniforms and shit.
I was like, yeah, uniforms? We don't have that.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't need that.
We don't need it.
No.
And we still cleaned house, but we weren't color coordinated. I don't know.
Mm-mm. No, we don't look like a well-run publication. No offense to us. We don't.
I mean, those
I don't-
otherwise, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it's necessary, all that, though. All the glitz and glam.
No.
As long as you're doing your best and putting all your energy into it, you know?
I would compare it to how the best news publications, all their newsrooms are just all messy all the time and stuff like that.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I'd say it's kind of like that.
It's exactly
Yeah,
like
like
It
that.
seems like the mess sort of carries over into, the work, too, all the time. I mean, it seems like when I'm reporting, it's always from one thing to the next, and then I
Yeah.
get another response, and I have to, go schedule another interview, and It's just all week, but I mean, it's worth it in the end because the stories that come out are
That's
so much
another
fun.
question I had for you guys. Like, when you got a story, was there any stories this year that like went a completely different direction that you guys had than you like first started off when you started going with it?
Yeah, well, the story I did on the funding gap, I didn't end up getting COVID numbers for, which I thought was weird, and
Right.
the COVID coordinator sent me to the numbers from the website, which only went till like October of last year, and I emailed her back and said, you know, why I need numbers beyond that because this is a recent story. This isn't a story from last semester, and she basically said, I'm going to need 2 weeks of advance notice if I can give you those type of things. It was just kind of confusing.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand that. But Laner has been the person that I've worked with like a lot, and she really likes me now, which I'm surprised that I was like, I sort of got in with one of the administration here because I don't know, they seem like they're so like high up, and it's like they're untouchable, but it's like they're just normal people like us too.
Exactly.
It's really fun to talk to too. It's really fun to interview
I
people.
feel like first time I interviewed Dr. Wally Fonzek, I don't even know, I think it was for the Tommy Hensel story. And then I like kept going to him throughout the semester, and then I ended up writing a profile about him, and he really loved it. So that was really fun. I really liked that. 'Cause it really touched him and a lot of others. So I really liked that part.
Yeah, that's something like I didn't expect was to like build as many relationships as I did
Right?
in just this one semester.
Mhm.
I know more people now than I did the whole 2.5 years I've been going here before. And
Well,
it's just wild.
It's the best way to interact on campus because you're actively going out and talking to people.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're
and
not
you're
doing
showing
that in
interest.
classes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The classes this year have been so dead. It's like you're not even getting that experience in a normal class because the discussions are so blank and lifeless. I mean, we wrote 2 stories about that, like
Mhm.
how
Yeah,
it's
that's what
just
one of the administrators
Yeah.
said.
everything is just. It seems. I said last semester it seemed like a ghost town here when there was literally no one in the D building, and I think that it's really good to be able to like get out of that haze, you know.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like the 101 class me and Joey and Emma had together. That was the only place where we would really discuss stuff.
Mhm.
You know, like there was like extra like deep topics that were brought out there for us to like actually talk about.
Yeah.
And I don't know. This year has just been wild in general. Just like
Mhm.
just from coming back to school after COVID and online classes, and then to see like where I'm at right now. It's just a crazy change from who I was before.
Yeah, I definitely think that Mrs. Couch's 101 class sets you up for this.
100%.
And the 111
so
too. Oh my
engaging.
goodness.
Even if you're not trying to be, even if you're not trying to like go on the paper or do anything, like you're gonna end up doing it
Yeah.
anyways, because it's just fun and like it's something to do other than just go to class and go home.
Yeah, and Mrs. Couch, she loves to invite you in with just open arms, like just come on in. It can't be that bad. And well, it wasn't terrible. I mean, it was a lot more work than I expected, but I think it was really, really still fun and it was a great experience.
I feel like it's like so rewarding. Like when we're
Mhm.
doing it, it doesn't feel great because it's
Uh-huh.
just like work, and then you see like people congratulating you for a story you did, or like saying like, "Man, this is great work," and like, or you get awards for your stuff, and it's like, okay, maybe this is worth something.
Yeah.
Yeah, the awards and I don't know, just the praise from like teachers and stuff. I remember I was just walking back to the library after a podcast one day, and a professor literally stopped me and said, "Oh, you're the kid that does Voices of the Valley, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "I like it. You do a good job." I was like, "What, dude?"
Man
Like,
on campus,
yeah, no, it was so wild for that to happen. And I just said thank you and kept going. And yeah, it's cool to have like my name out here, you know.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that too. Everyone in the library literally knows me now. Just
Yeah.
They come at the same time every week and check out the equipment.
Exactly. Like I know them all by name. They know me by name. I know Troy Swanson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's asked me to do stuff for him ever
Yeah.
since. Like, it's crazy. I didn't expect to get so involved here when I first got here, and the fact that I am now, I'm so happy that I stayed.
Me too. I think one of the interesting parts about it too is when you post those articles in terms of like what Rosie was saying, it's rewarding. I don't have a lot of friends on Facebook myself, but my mom has a lot of friends. And it's interesting when those articles get sent out and you'll see all of the comments on her stuff. And it's like, wow, Mariah's doing great things. And I have no idea who the Cheryl is in my mom's comments, you know, but she likes what I'm doing and she likes what I'm reading. And that's exciting, you know. There's something about people are actually paying attention to you, and that's usually a lot of really good praise. I remember when I did the war in Ukraine, I also got some bad ones, but that's made me feel a little bit like a celebrity, so it's fine. A little bit of backlash.
Are you getting hate mail?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe one day, but it's amazing. Like you guys said, it's a lot of work at the moment, but when it's all said and done, like I know I'm gonna cry when we have our send off and when I leave, you know, like
I probably will too.
oh my god, I hope everyone cries, but it's fine.
I'll comfort you, Nick.
I'm not super emotional. I try not to be, but I mean,
It's gonna be so sad.
It's been such an experience.
It's like, because it's so different from last semester, because we never like saw each other in person. And,
Exactly.
Like, I actually know you guys, and so it's gonna be a lot
Connor
sadder.
got to buy us pizza.
Oh yeah, that was
Went to Olive
yeah.
Garden
I
without
got
me.
to. Yes, I got to buy us pizza.
How was that Olive Garden?
The Olive Garden was pretty good.
Olive Garden
I
was
finished
good,
my
yeah.
food as soon as I got home. I don't know about you
Those
guys.
I did too.
Those
Yeah.
breadsticks are so good. Oh my gosh.
Rosie kept my breadsticks.
Oh,
Hmm.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Man, they're probably still in my fridge. I'll bring them over.
Yeah, yeah. I just feel like we had this like club mentality now that it
Yeah.
just didn't exist before.
No, it
Mhm.
didn't.
Before it was kind of like just trying to work with strangers, and
You
now
guys told me at the beginning of this semester that we would like hang out for my birthday.
we
No
go to
way.
Olive
No
Garden
way.
You
and
guys
Barnes
talking
and Noble
about it, yeah,
and mini golf. Like,
I'm glad.
It was the same,
Yeah.
like, the way it was around campus last semester. It was the same exact way when we first came into this class. Like, it was literally just Mrs. Couch guiding us through everything.
Yeah.
And the first 2 weeks, you know, they were on Zoom and whatnot, and it was like, is this really how things are going to be with, like, two people talking the whole time? It was really Mariah and Miss Couch that were carrying those first few conversations, but since then, like, we've really expanded as, like, an actual club, and it feels more like an organization, a community than it did
Yeah.
before.
Exactly. It's almost gotten to the point where I feel like you guys are just my friends, and
Yeah.
we just do work together, which is nice.
yeah, like I feel like these are relationships we'll have like when we go into our adulthood.
I
you
hope
know?
so. I hope so.
If you guys stop talking to me, I'm gonna be mad.
No.
Yeah, me too. If you guys go off, people who are leaving, if you guys go off, we don't talk. It's gonna be
Yeah.
so sad.
Well, yeah, let's go through that. Like, who's staying, who's leaving?
Well, I'm staying,
Staying.
I'm staying too.
and then you three are leaving.
Us
I'm
three are
leaving.
leaving.
Darn.
Damn.
Wow, we're losing almost half of everyone. That's crazy.
Yeah, and
Sarah's
then
leaving too.
Oh,
I
we are
feel-
losing
Sarah's
half.
leaving.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It feels like there's more people than there actually is. I don't know why.
It does. I know.
literally when I was like counting the mics today, I was like, wait a second, is that like 7 or 8? I just couldn't like. And
Yeah.
it feels like there's so many more things involved.
Yeah, like
You know.
if you look at the amount of content that we get out every week, it feels like there's more like
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
more staff, you know.
Well, something I like more about this semester is I feel like we've had a lot more from like other people coming in. Like I
That's
felt
very
more
true.
like an editor instead of just
Yes.
like somebody who writes stories.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is so nice.
I'm glad we could get some freelancers and
I
didn't
hope-
have to do everything on our own because that would have been.
I hope
so
that
crazy.
continues because like editing is a lot of work, but like I hope that people want to write for us because it's a lot of fun to work with them, and I
Yes.
like having not having to write every week.
I'd say the best thing about this publication is like I got to really practice more with writing. Because as a kid, I used to write like stories whenever we finished them, but like getting the chance to write stories and go out and take pictures, it was real fun and very entertaining. And I always say to myself, hard work always pays off, and I enjoyed it working with every single one of you.
Yes,
Mm.
and writing is a huge skill. Emails and even just talking to people in general. But like when I first started, me and Mariah had to work on like
I remember.
the first like 2 or 3 stories together, and I was so confused. I was like, this cannot be every story. I'm gonna get better at this. And sure enough,
It was
eventually
so
I
much
got
fun
to-
teaching you, though.
Thank
Because
you.
now I
Yeah,
see
it
that
was-
you're doing it for
It
everyone
was fun,
else.
even though Google Docs wasn't the best way to do it, but
It was all we had at the
It
time.
worked. But yeah, we just kind of texted through Google Docs because that's what worked. But
Mhm.
now I'm independent, more independent with writing stories, and I think that's going to definitely carry over into just moving forward in
Most definitely.
academia.
Like this publication group, whatever you want to call it, I think it's so helpful, even if you're not going into journalism. Like just writing one piece for us would it teaches you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And then to also be an editor, you have so many skills to take with you into pretty much anything. So
Because I
it'll
mean,
look good on a resume.
Yeah,
It
that
does.
too.
Social skills too, like socializing.
Yes.
and everything else.
That's a big
huge.
reason why I even started this podcast. Like when I was first here, I remember just having so much social anxiety. I just didn't know how to handle it, how to control it. And the only thing that like my mind like could say is like put yourself in a place where you have to talk and you have to do it, so that way you face your fear and you eventually get comfortable. And like I've grown so much, and that's like the biggest thing that like changed for me.
Yeah, I was the same way too.
and with facing your fear, like one of the things that always tripped me up was those on the street interviews where you have to go out and talk to random people. The first few stories I had to do those for, I was so nervous. Like I was about to have a panic attack. I was on the edge, and then I was texting my mom. I'm like, I'm afraid to go up to this person and just ask them this question. And then I just did it, and I was like, oh, this is so relief just washes over you.
Yes.
And then you just go on, and I could go 9 more people afterwards, and I'd just be cruise right through it. But that's true.
I like to, when there's with the Roe v. Wade news, we had a discussion on what we were running it as.
Mm-hmm. What's our opinion?
Right.
Did we want it to be an editorial? Did we want a reaction story? I like that we kind of find ways to have our own angles on things instead of just running the same thing that every other publication is going
I don't
to.
think that we appreciate the fact that we have that availability as much as we should. Like I'm just now thinking of it that that's like the privilege that we've been given
It
to talk
is.
about whatever we want.
It's very limited in other places.
That's crazy. I didn't think of that.
Especially, coming from a Catholic high school, we weren't allowed to write anything, for opinions and editorials and stuff like that. We were so boxed in, and so coming here, obviously this isn't religiously affiliated, but coming here and being able to actually put my opinion out there about things is such a breath of fresh air. Which I think is why I'm so attached to my position.
I know.
You're good at it too, Rose. I think
You
you should
are.
stay there.
Yeah, you definitely are.
I'm getting sad thinking about it. I don't know, there's just been so much growth from all of us. And personally, because I'm leaving and starting all over again, it's again, in the terms of the whole school, it was all online. This is the only class I ever took that was in person. And talk about a change between literally having no communication with any of my professors to coming in and running a whole group of people who discuss their opinions and their whole livelihoods, which is interesting.
That's a huge switch.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was everyone's different backgrounds. We have kids from Catholic schools, from public schools, and just learning about everybody really just I don't know, just opens my mind. And that's why I started this podcast too. I just like knowing people's stories and why they think the way they do, because it helps me in my life.
Yeah.
Going through it to either not make the same mistakes or make the same mistakes.
Yeah, and Connor, I think you were in my journalism 111 class, and when we went out to get quotes for the vaccine story when Pritzker first put in that mandate, you sat down next to me and afterwards, and we just talked through it, right? If I recall.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is great. No one else in my class was willing to actually just sit down and just talk outside of class about something else. And it's nice to have a break from your normal what you're normally learning.
Yeah.
And just kind of interact with people and try to form those bonds and connections.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
and you're good at that.
Thank
really
you.
Good at that.
I appreciate that. I think that's just I value that more than, I guess, education in a sense. I could go into a classroom and get a good grade, okay?
Right.
But I think
But what does that mean in the real world?
It's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
I'd rather know the people in that classroom. I'd rather get to know the professor. I'd rather, because all of that affects me more than anything a grade will ever affect me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the best thing about this group that I like the most. It's basically like a bond, like teamwork and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Like as a kid, I actually got bullied a lot, and I couldn't really trust anybody. Even teachers didn't like me for no reason. Like,
Wow.
I fought back against a bully, and they spent like a whole week. Because like they knew I was getting bullied, but they didn't care at all. They just all had he's like the worst of them all. And the best thing about this location is that I got to meet every single one of you, and it's been a pleasure working with every single one of you. Writing stories, taking photographs.
Glacier is accepting, if anything,
It is, of anyone.
of anyone.
Exactly. I really couldn't care what you look like, who you are, what your beliefs are. I'm open to have a discussion with you no matter what. To be
We have all
honest.
types of
Yep.
people. All types of people on
Yes.
this publication.
Yes, we do.
Well, I mean, and something that's nice is that like we all are willing to have discussions with each other and not just like shoot down everything
Mhm.
anyone says
Mhm.
or like need your opinion to be right. Like I feel like I've had mind-changing conversations in our class, which is nice.
Most definitely. What's your guys' favorite story?
Mine was my tattoo one.
Nice,
That was
I
a
remember
good
that
one.
one.
It was like I don't see why that's even.
Yeah, that was a really good one. It was nice and short and sweet, and it had a lot of like subtlety in it.
Mhm.
It was great.
Because I actually want tattoos myself and everything else. I don't see why it's like an issue
I've-
if we have tattoos in our arms.
I've referenced that. I think I referenced that story for my own opinion piece. I'm pretty sure. Because Miss Couch was like, "Go back and look at Rosie's story," and I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Yeah, it's really good. It's to the point." But like for me, my favorite story.
Mhm.
Oh my god, the opinion piece. I
Nice.
don't want to say that. Like I don't want to go outside of the realm of what I'm actually here to do. But
Just
it
last
was
week.
so fun to like have my voice out on the paper like loud.
Yeah. Mhm.
Whereas like you can apparently put it in the news stories, but it's hard to.
It's hard,
like-
yeah.
I really want like my writing to be a little bit more creative sometimes, and it's a good break from,
How about you, Emma?
researchy stuff.
Mine was the Will Smith one.
That one was a good
yes.
one, yeah.
Right. And that was
Yes.
one of those moments we were just talking about where like you realize that you love what you're doing.
Mhm.
This is actually, doing
You want to
something-
write it.
Yeah, and it was so much fun to write and talk to different people about, and it ended up being a really fun story. So I really like that one.
How about you, Joey?
The tennis story that I wrote like a month ago.
Okay.
I was a pretty big fan of it. Just because I knew absolutely nothing about tennis beforehand. So it came out pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice. very
And now
nice.
you're like a god on tennis.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Good
He's a
teacher.
pro.
My favorite podcast, I think, is a tie between DeWitt Scott and Sam Chen. And the only thing is, DeWitt Scott like opened my mind to so much stuff that I didn't even realize like that could be real.
Mhm.
But the connection that I made with Sam Chen while we were talking to him, like it's something like I know like I'll be emailing him even when I'm in Colombia. I'll be emailing him
Yeah.
past in my life,
That's awesome.
And so yeah, I just love both of those because it was just good stories, and it was very selfishly for me.
Mhm.
Like it really like helped me
That's okay.
in whatever I was dealing with that week.
That's
you know?
good.
though.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's honestly what a podcast should do. It
Yeah.
should be an outlet to vent and let out, what you're thinking at the time. It shouldn't be this. You don't have to structure it a certain way.
Mhm.
Just talk about what you want to, and
Yeah.
it sort of put yourself in it. Because that's what your job as the host is, to let the other person's voice be heard, but also to connect to that person.
Exactly.
So
And I hope I did that through my.
definitely,
I hope
yeah.
I
I was on your podcast, and it was great.
Yeah.
We could have gone on for an hour and a half. And
Mhm.
I still had more to say. We didn't talk about my hospitalizations or whatever, but
Yeah.
but we were getting there. But
Yeah.
I was like, hey, 25 or 30 or whatever, how many minutes we did, it was great.
Mhm.
It was nice to just let it all out,
Yeah.
Just sometimes you need to do that, especially like if you don't have someone in your life to talk to,
Mhm.
It's good to
It's weird,
let all
like
the feelings
because
out.
podcasts you just sit down and just have a conversation,
Mhm.
and I
Yeah.
feel like that's something, at least in our culture, our generation, where that doesn't really tend to happen as
Not
much.
anymore. No.
A lot of our communication is either over our phones or on an electronic.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you're just sitting down and like, hey, I just want to talk to you, you're like, whoa, like why do you want to talk to me? You know what I mean? And yeah.
Yeah.
Don't talk about
Social media is a whole different thing. I wanted to do a story on it this semester. We didn't really get that far. I mean, I guess the Elon Musk thing sort of.
Do it
social
when you're
media.
chief, man.
But we'll definitely be running one when I'm editor-in-chief next semester, because I think social media
ready,
is
news
such a
editor.
huge topic.
Nick's gonna be running this thing like a boot camp.
Yeah, no, probably not.
Are you gonna get?
If
You're
you
gonna
know
get.
me, Rosie, I can be pretty nice.
You gotta get uniforms.
He's the editor-in-chief. He said, like, hey, 40 push-ups right now.
You gotta get
You'll the
uniforms.
story
Nick.
in by 5 o'clock. 40 push-ups.
Let's do it.
Oh yeah, we can get our little custom ink like sweaters.
Oh yeah, you
For the
can.
conference.
That's
Can you guys
true.
send me one?
I guess
please?
I guess I'll be paying for those, or whatnot.
You cover the cost.
You could pay for
Oh
it.
my god. Our advertisement should cover that cost, but
We'll see.
that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. We don't get into that yet.
Depends if we win the same amount of awards.
We better.
Let's win more.
We
I
better.
think we will.
Yeah, I'm sure
I-
we will.
Come on, like
Especially
Absolutely.
like once all
Just
the
because
stuff
of the
from this
quantity
semester
going up.
gets considered.
quantity going up, but also the quality. It's still been going up somehow. I don't know how, because last semester was in. Like so I read through some of those stories, because for Journalism 111,
Yeah.
the one that Miss Couch went back to was your sustainability story. I read through it, I was like, I'm gonna have to, like, I could be writing this in the future, and I never thought that my stories would be anything like that. And
Aw.
going through it, working with you, I think that's what helped, because
Thank
you're the
you.
one who's writing them, and so I'm getting the experience from you, and I think my stories have turned out to be
They have.
fantastic.
I've seen a lot of your growth over the whole semester
Thank
in
you.
terms of socially and in terms of your writing has been phenomenal. And your reporting, all of you guys. I mean, Emma, seriously, arts and entertainment, like that was never a
Oh my
thing.
gosh,
Having
yeah.
sources in an arts and entertainment story, and they're just so much more in depth. Going back onto my sustainability story, that was definitely my best story, and it was my favorite
gem.
one. Yeah, exactly. When I wrote it, it was one of those stories that I did not want to write for the life of me. Like, sustainability? Ew, are
And
you
then you were
kidding?
shocked.
And then, yeah, I got the interview, and I was like,
You were shocked
oh
into
my
submission.
god, yeah. And I remember me and Mrs. Couch talked all night that night on how we were gonna turn it
Approach
into
it.
this story, yeah.
Right.
Because it was sensitive, you know, and if it went off the wrong way, administration could strike it, and she could get in trouble for it, and it was just a whole thing. But then it ended up winning news story and all of this other thing, and it was actually the reason why I won Reporter of the Year,
Yeah.
which is
Mm-hmm.
awesome. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Because you already.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely.
Please don't make me cry yet. I'll
That's
cry
it.
next week.
I think my first one I got just right. It was actually the one about the virus Taylor Hawkins.
Mhm.
Because I had the option
That was a good
to
story.
Really touch on like
Oh my
how
God.
influential the band was as a whole was to me, and also how Hawkins was to me. It's actually he's gone though. I mean, like, it's basically the reason why I want to get a guitar, and every time
In honor of him?
well, in honor of like the Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl,
Yeah.
and Kurt Cobain and Nirvana.
That was a great story. The lead and the nut graph, like
Mhm.
literally talking about your experience, like it was emotional.
It was a good piece
It
of
almost-
shit.
Yeah.
I almost cried reading that.
It goes
Like,
back to like
it was crazy.
you doing what you wanted to. Like
Yeah.
you wanted to write that story.
Yep.
You know, that wasn't
And it
something
turned
that
out
would just came
fantastic.
out.
Better than anything else you could have done if you didn't inject yourself into the story like that.
Yeah, 'cause,
honestly.
like, my nephew, he's always playing the drums, but like I've been just listening to like Foo Fighters all the time. Like past, like
Mhm.
it's like 2005 going on to now. So yeah, it's been like a
Wow.
long time. I've been like just-
Hardcore fan, man, that's crazy.
The only downside is how strict my mom was. I can go to a concert. I should just like out to like I'm just called Uber. She called Uber, say, hey, take me to this Foo Fighters concert. Oh, I got money for it. And there you go.
I hope we can do more about music
Mhm.
Yes.
in
Me
the
too.
future.
Yes, I was.
Or who knows?
Who was? I think it was Omar who was giving suggestions. I think that was one of his
Yeah,
things.
like a weekly album review.
Yes,
I would love that.
This week, like I was waiting to do an album review because I'm constantly looking for like what's the next new thing, and I'm gonna listen to the whole thing. So
Yeah.
like that's how I know, I'm gonna do a review on this because I'm not just gonna listen to the singles because
Mhm.
I want to know what puts it together.
Yeah.
honestly.
And
All right, guys.
Honestly,
I love y'all. I do. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this podcast here today. And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but we are over 30 minutes. But I love y'all. Thank you for, putting up with my pestering if you guys wanted to come on every damn week when I didn't have a guest. I appreciate this. I love you. I love the Glacier. Okay. Bye. We love you, Connor.